We always talk about male-centered women. Let's talk about male-centered men. There is a significant amount of men out here that unfortunately do everything they do to please other men. And most of these men do not identify as homosexual or gay. I'm talking the jewelry they buy is for other men. They talk to certain girls who get props for other men. I just saw this video where this boy was talking about the reason why so many dark-skinned girls don't get approached or the people don't go for the dark-skinned girls is because dark-skinned women aren't glamorized. And he is so fucking accurate. Having a bad red bone on your shoulder as a man is like tattooing "I'm that nigga" on your forehead. And just being real, the bitch don't even gotta be bad. Bitch could look like a giraffe as long as she got a fat ass. That's all these niggas need. And it's not all men, but it's a significant amount of men who have this deep desire to get approval of other men. And this typically stems from lack of attention from their father or whoever was a father figure in their life. But this is a real thing, y'all.
The only thing worse than male-centered women is male-centered men. Male-centered men are the worst. There are so many men who are coming out to expose male-centered men. So many men live for the approval and validation of other men.
In this world, there are straight heterosexual men who are attracted to women, but they don't like women. They're not down low, they're not gay, they're not in the closet. They just don't like women beyond a woman's physical beauty. These specific types of men also tend to be very male-centered. They do a lot of things, and damn near everything, for the approval of other men. The opinions of other men are more valuable than their connection toward women. A lot of us as men are socially conditioned to just valuing women and appreciating them for how they look, which is exactly why most men don't go beyond that threshold of superficiality. And it's not hard to tell. All you have to do is ask a man or ask a group of men, what is it about women that you like that is non-physical and non-sexual? In most cases, silence is going to be their response. This is going to sound a little fucked up, but it's a reality. A lot of men think that women are to be collected, not appreciated, not known for who they truly are, not loved, and not cared for. So they'll talk to the most amount of women they can possibly talk to because they know that it's going to create an approval from other guys. Oh my God, bro, you talking to this girl? Wow, you know, fist bump. You're a G. You're a real man. I'm trying to live through you vicariously, etc. So a lot of these specific kind of men, when they see another man treating his woman properly or talking about women in a positive way, automatically they'll call him out on being a simp because he knows how to treat women well. And that's because they internally dislike women for who women truly are. I learned this fairly early because I started working at a young age, and throughout my life I worked a lot of male-dominated jobs. And the way that they would talk about their wives, their girlfriends, or other women in general, you could tell that they don't like women. They don't like them, but they're with women because that gives them some type of recognition among other men in society. All you got to do is pay attention and observe how a man talks about women to other men. That is how he really feels about women. Don't worry about how he talks about women in front of other women. That ain't how he feels about women. The way he talks to other men about women, that's how he feels about them.
The only thing worse than a male-centered woman is a male-centered man. These are the men who think that everything that a woman does is for the approval, the validation, or the desire of men. They refuse to acknowledge the fact that she can and will exist as a whole individual outside of a relationship. We wonder how certain parts of society get to a point where they completely banish women. They banish their voice. They banish them from being seen. As we've seen from the Afghan woman, male-centered men bring us to that point. They are so infuriated by the beauty, the charisma, the magnetism, the intellect, the charm, the essence of a woman. So instead of dealing with all of that internally, they want to cage her. They want to put her in a box, and they want to keep her away from the rest of society, where they can control her, where they can manipulate her into thinking that all of her confidence, all of her value comes from him. That is what brings psychological abuse and manipulation in relationships, in marriages. They cannot fathom seeing her free and thriving in something that he is not attached to. I say the disclaimers at this point, but I don't even know if they work. But this is not all men. But if you peep one, just know that there is nothing you can do, there is nothing you can say that will change his perspective. on women. So continue to be who you are, with or without a man, and create the life that you think you deserve.
And this typically stems from lack of attention from their father or whoever was a father figure in their life.
I'm not here to push back on anything this young man said because he is 100% correct. I just want to add a couple things to it. It's not a certain demographic of men. It's just men. Most men seek the validation of other men. Black, white, whatever. Like he mentioned the light-skinned women versus the dark-skinned women, the colorism that exists within the black community. That same thing exists in East Asian communities. It exists in white culture as well in America. You talk about like blondes versus brunettes. You know, a white man getting a blonde. It doesn't matter how she looks. Same thing. I've seen that before. Like a ton of women, blonde hair women are unattractive, but they're pedestalized simply because they're blonde. You know what I mean? So that happens. That is a man thing. That is a man thing that we do. And the patriarchy is essentially men vying for the attention of other men at the cost of everybody else. That's the best way I can describe the patriarchy. And it's like he said, it's not gay men. It's just men. It's just men. It could be gay men, but it's really just men. It's all men. Doesn't matter.
A lot of these men, if you just sit and have a conversation with them, you'll realize how male-centered they are. They've been hurt by women, they've been rejected by women, and they are mad at women. They feel like women have it easier than them. They feel like women are catered to. They feel like women have more access to resources than they do. Their whole thing is that women come before them, okay? And if you just sit and talk to a man and have a conversation with him about his background first, a lot of the shit that we go through in relationships could be avoided because he's going to tell you everything you need to know when you ask him certain questions. So I have this male friend who sometimes I'll have conversations with about things that I've been through with other men. And each time that I explain to him what a man has done to me, he'll always try to justify what the man did. I could tell him the man punched me in my face, kicked me in my stomach, dragged me with his car. Well, what did you do to make him mad? And why did he, blah, 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 blah. He'll try to find any reason to justify what a man has done to me because in his eyes has to be a legit reason and you must have done something to cause him to want to put hands on you. I don't care what I tell this man a man has done to me, he's going to try to justify it because he's a male-centered man. So in his eyes and in men's eyes who are male-centered, men can do no wrong. Male-centered men have a way of turning everything into a battle of the sexes when it should just be about what's right and what's wrong. But because they've been hurt by some women and rejected by some women, it grew a deep hate for women that they don't want to acknowledge. It will never tell you like, oh, I hate women, like women have it easy and women should be, want to be treated like women and they want to be respected like women and they want to be equal to women. They want to feel like they're on the same level as a woman, but they will never tell you these things. It's sad because they're never going to admit to it. You're just going to have a conversation with them and try to find out what type of man they are. And a lot of these men be male-centered. They hate women. They want to be equal to women. They feel like women have it easier than them. They want to be treated like women. They want to be chased down. Also had a conversation about how it's a woman's choice whether or not she wants to get rid of a baby or keep a baby, and the man doesn't really have too much say so in that. And he's like, oh, well, that's not fair. A man should have a say so. It's her body though, bro. Like, it's too many men that walk away from their kids for a man's say so to be just as important as a woman's. At the end of the day, that woman is going to be stuck with that kid for the next 18 years, with or without you. Because when a man decides to get up and walk away, nobody says anything about that. That's the problem. Society blames everything on women. Women did this, women did that. Oh, you chose your baby father. Oh, you should have known better. But there's no accountability placed on the men. And it's honestly getting out of control. It's too many male-centered men walking around acting like they like women. They hate women. They hate how people favor women. They hate how people cater to women. They hate how women have resources. They hate everything about what is required of being a woman. But they will never tell you. So y'all need to have conversations with these men and find out if they're male-centered, because if they are, 9 times out of 10, it don't matter what you do. You will never be able to fully make that man happy and make him see you as a woman. He hates women.
The patriarchy forces all of us to center men. So men have centered men. What that looks like is men listening to other men about what women want. Men listening to other men about any fucking thing that has to do with a woman. If you are listening to a man instead of a fucking woman, there's a problem with that. Okay? I know why you're doing it, because you don't value women. You don't like women. You don't think women are worth a... So you're not going to listen to them. Meanwhile, you still think you want a woman, but you don't. You want the male approval of what having a woman looks like.
How the fuck are you not male-centered? You're literally built for them, LMAO. That's the only reason you on this earth, LMAO. Ladies, please don't center us. Please. Take this from a man who used to try to get the approval of other men. We are not worth it. We are not worth it. Okay, center yourselves. Save yourselves. Get off your knees.
So guys, there are men whose entire identity, choices, and worldview revolves around impressing, pleasing, and being validated by other men. Here is a clear way to put it. Male-centered men are worse than male-centered women because they sacrifice their self-respect, they sacrifice their principles, their values, and their purpose just to be liked and approved by other men. They measure their worth entirely through male attention instead of personal growth, discipline, and values. They become resentful or performative when they don't get the validation that they crave, and they stop being leaders in their own lives and start living reactively. Men who love male approval and validation perform for other men, not for their own purpose. They adjust their personality depending on what the boys will think, what their homeboys will think. Male-centered men fear being judged by men more than being loved by women. And they will call it brotherhood, but it is really insecurity disguised as masculinity. They cannot make independent choices unless a man beside them nods in approval. If a male-centered man doesn't have a man to approve whatever decision he has to make, he's not going to make that decision unless another man approves it. They treat women as props to gain status with other men. There are a lot of men who treat women as property to gain status with other men. These are the type of men who will date you just because dating you looks good in the eyes of other men. They know that being with a girl like you improves and increases their status in the eyes of other men. So they will be with you for that reason. And if you're no longer serving him the purpose in which he is with you for, status, he's going to drop you for another woman who has way more value or more status in the eyes of other men. These are the type of men who, when they see another woman who is going to give them more status in the eyes of their homeboys, they will drop you for that woman. An example of a male-centered man is a man who will break up with you because his friends don't like you. It's a man who wouldn't date you even though he likes you because his friends don't like you. He's going to do everything to not date you because he knows dating a girl that his friends don't like will cause his friends to mock him. He doesn't want to get mocked and he doesn't want to reduce his status in the eyes of his homeboys, so he won't date you even if he likes you. Male-centered men are the type of men who will only date a girl based on the impression of other men. A lot of men are male-centered. That you want to date a guy or a guy wants to date you, he goes into the street investigating about you from other men, waiting for them to approve you first before he dates you. This is what a lot of men do. They want their homeboys to tell them, yes, date this girl, before they say, okay, yes, I can date you now. It's like when a guy asks you out and he likes you, the first thing he does is he goes and presents you to all his friends, and every man in the streets which he knows or which he thinks about may know you. He's going to present you to them. And if he presents you to them and they don't want you or they don't like you for whatsoever reason, maybe because they are jealous, guess what? He's not going to date you. There are a lot of men who their friends have talked them out of dating good women or being with good women because they are jealous. There are a lot of you men watching this video who have lost good women who really liked you like that. Women who your friends wanted to be with. But because you were able to go after this girl and this guy noticed that this girl really likes you, he talked you out of dating her because he was jealous. And there are a lot of them who will stupidly listen to their jealous friends about you just because they couldn't have you. They don't want their friend to have you. This is what a lot of men do. And the sick thing, one of the things that have destroyed the dating pool is the fact that men are so male-centered that they will see good women, they will end up losing good women and not being with good women because they allow their jealous friends to talk them out of being with these women. An example of a male-centered man is a man who has to require approval from his friends to date a woman. That's a big example. If his friends just say anything bad about you, he doesn't want to deal with you anymore. If his friends just make fun of you or try to ridicule you or make it seem like you're not the type of girl he's supposed to be with, this man will forget about you even if he likes you just because his friends don't like you. With all of these things, a lot of male-centered men lose themselves trying to fit into male hierarchy that doesn't even care about them. Some men crave male validation more than love. He doesn't want a woman, he wants approval from the boys. He wants applause from the boys. Many men don't fear women's rejection, they fear men's judgment. That is why they do everything just so that their homeboys shouldn't judge them, mock them, or laugh at them. They don't really care about what women think, they care about what other men think about them. And let me tell you guys one secret. The largest alpha in the room is usually just addicted to male approval and male validation. Some men don't even live for themselves, they live for the boys. What they wear, how they talk, who they date is all about what other men think. It's all about how other men would think. There are a lot of men who act tough for their guy friends, but in a different environment or behind closed doors, he's a completely different person. He's claiming tough, he's telling them, I don't really give a fuck about her. She can go to hell. Who is she? I don't care. Claiming tough to his homeboys, but behind the scenes, this guy is on his knees begging. He's begging you to take him back. but he will talk trash about you in the DMs to show that he's a man. Their whole identity is a performance, a character created for male applause, a character created for male validation and approval. Here's the funniest part: they call themselves alphas, but everything they do is controlled by male judgment. Everything they do is controlled by male judgment. So tell me, how is that leadership? How is that leadership? Some men don't fear women's rejection. They fear men's disappointment. They don't want to be seen as weak, soft, or different. So they end up becoming clones, copies of the men they admire instead of being original. And when a man lives for male approval, he becomes dangerous in relationships. Why? Because he lives for status. He's not dating for connection, he's dating for status. You're not his partner, you're his prop. You're his property, which he's using to gain approval and applause from his homeboys. You're a trophy girlfriend, you're a trophy wife, you are a property to him. I'm going to end this video by saying this: a real man doesn't need a crowd to clap for him. A real man stands on his own decisions, his own values, and his own mission. Confidence is quiet when it is real. So here is my message: if a man needs male validation to feel worthy, then he's not ready for leadership, partnership, or for a woman who knows her value. Have you guys seen how men act around other men who have money? That is how male-centered men are. They are the biggest kiss asses. They will kiss a man's ass just because the man has money. They want to feel accepted in a particular clique of other men because somehow it increases their status. These are the type of men who won't hold other men accountable because they don't want to seem weak. They want to belong. That is why they won't hold other men accountable for the wrong things they do to other people and to women. Even though a lot of men always like to deny this, they always have that one male friend which they seek validation and approval from. There is always that man which they look up to. Even amongst male friend groups, there is always a leader. Somebody who is the leader of the group and every other guy follows whatever that guy says. If you're a woman and you're dating a man who is a follower, that is a worst experience because it is his friend. The leader of his friend group is the one who will determine how your man is supposed to treat you. There are a lot of these men who take instructions from the leader of their friend group on what to do with women, how to treat women, and how to act, how to dress, how to do everything. They look up to this leader in their friend group. That is why a lot of women like to date the leader of the friend group than the follower, because a lot of you men are followers. You sit with your man, when his friends say, let us go and eat, your man just gets up and is going. He doesn't even care about what you have to say or what you want. If his friends say we are going to a Chinese restaurant, or we are going to an African restaurant, or we are going to Starbucks, wherever his friend chooses, that is where you're going to eat. And I cannot stand a male-centered man. A male-centered man is the worst. Have you ever been in a relationship with a guy who his friends determine everything about him? His friends determine what kind of business he needs to do, what kind of places he needs to go to, and even the kind of women he needs to date. To the point where his friends decide where he has to eat. You can go out on a date with this guy, or let me say you guys are going out on a couple's night out or a couple's date, and you don't want to go to a particular spot, but because your man's friend, the leader of the friend group, wants to go to that particular spot, your man, who is a big kiss ass, has to follow what the leader of the group says because he's being a pygmy to his homeboys. If his homeboys say we are going to the strip club, even if your man doesn't want to go to the strip club and maybe spend money on other women or even meet other females because he knows this is going to get you uncomfortable, he's going to do it because his homeboys want to do it. There are men who will cheat on their girlfriends because they are so male-centered. They are so male-centered, seeking approval from their friends. They want to belong in this male friend group so badly that because their friends are cheating, they want to also cheat to belong. Some of their friends will even encourage them to cheat on you, to lie to you, to mistreat you. So many of the men today, their character, their actions, everything they do is being influenced by other men, period. They live for the approval and the validation of other men. Anything a man does, he wants another man to approve. I would rather deal with a man who is a leader than a man who is a follower, because the follower is a big kiss ass and he's the kind of guy who is going to drop you so long as his friends don't want you anymore. So long as the leader of the clique doesn't want you to be with him, he's not going to be with you. A lot of you don't even know that we women notice this. Even amongst your friend groups, we notice this. We see how you guys are pick-me's to your homeboys. We see it. Because your homeboys are bashing women, you want to bash women because it looks good in their eyes. their decision, their character, their choices are being influenced by their friends. Another category of male-centered men are these ones who will do anything bad to get money because they want to get some kind of applause from their homeboys, who are involving themselves in criminal activities, in scams, in money rituals, in occultism. They do all this because they want to get money and gain status in the eyes of other men. They want other men to see them, to respect them, to approve them, to applaud them, to clap for them that they are rich. That is why men do all these horrible things to have money. There are so many men in jail today. They are locked up in prison because they were doing horrible, heinous crimes to have money. There are some of them who have been buried 6 feet below the ground just because they made bad deals with the enemy, occultism, money rituals, because they wanted their homeboys to clap for them. Doing horrible things to get money and get approval from people who don't even like you. Inferiority complex and the need to belong. Male-centered men are the type of men who will even kill you to get money just so that they can have some approval and applause from people. These are the type of men who will marry a woman they don't even love or date a woman they don't even love just because it looks good in the eyes of his friends and in the eyes of his family. So long as everyone is approving it, I don't even care if I love her, let me just be with her because every other person likes her even though he doesn't even like you. It's scary. Male-centered men are dangerous than male-centered women. So besties, we've come to the end of this amazing video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Share your experiences, share your opinions concerning male-centered men. If you think male-centered women are bad, male-centered men are the worst. Anyways, I'm going to see you guys in my next video. Bye. Love you.